Lions, tigers, and bears? Oh my.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
You ever dig so deep into the forgotten cartoon vault that you start uncovering shows that make you stop and ask, why were there so many cartoons about tiny animals in the 1980s? Tiny bears, tiny dogs, tiny trolls. Tiny forest creatures living in villages while evil wizards tried to steal magical objects before breakfast. The 80s were a weird time. Today, we're talking about one of those nearly lost Saturday morning cartoons that aired for one quick season, then practically vanished into the cartoon wilderness. A show with magical bear cubs, living totems, flying horses, and a villain literally named Dark Paw. Because subtlety was illegal in 1985. So grab your cereal, adjust the rabbit ears, and let's head back to Saturday morning for a look at Paw-Paws.
Paw-Paw bears! Deep, deep in the forest, far away from everywhere. With a bunch of mighty little critters, they're called the Paw-Paw bears. These are brave and fearless Paw-Paws, as everyone well knows. When you get in trouble, and this goes double, you call the Paw-Paw bears. Paw-Paw bears! Paw-Paw bears! Paw-Paw bears! These Paw-Paws pop up all around like magic. They're there. The troubles that you thought you had have vanished in the air. So don't forget those Paw-Paws. They'll come from everywhere. If you get in trouble and this goes double, you call the Paw-Paw bears. Paw-Paw bears. Paw-Paw bears. Paw-Paw bears.
Before we jump in, if you love retro cartoons, obscure animation history, and nostalgic deep dives, hit that like button and subscribe. Now, let's head into the forest. Paw-Paws premiered in 1985 from Hanna-Barbera, right in the middle of the Saturday morning cartoon explosion. The competition back then, brutal. You had Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, She-Ra, the Smurfs. Every network was throwing animated shows at kids as fast as humanly possible. Buried in the middle of all that chaos were these magical little bear people. The Paw-Paws lived in a hidden forest village protected by magical giant totems. Totem Bear, Totem Turtle, and Totem Eagle. These weren't just statues. Thanks to the mystic moonstone carried by Princess Paw-Paw, they could actually come to life. Which means this show somehow mixed tiny teddy bears, native-inspired fantasy elements, magic creatures, and giant wooden kaiju guardians. That is peak 1980s cartoon energy. The funny thing is, I actually remembered the totems before I remembered the show itself. I think a lot of kids did. When you're 8 years old and flipping channels on a Saturday morning, giant wooden animals smashing villains into trees tend to stick in your brain forever, even if you completely forgot the title. The basic setup was simple. The Paw-Paws defended their village from the Minos, led by the evil sorcerer, Dark Paw. His actual name was Dark Paw. No mystery there. No hidden symbolism. This man woke up every morning and chose evil branding. Like most Hanna-Barbera cartoons, the characters were named with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Brave Paw was brave. Mighty Paw was strong. Laughing Paw liked jokes. Trembly Paw was terrified of everything. And Medicine Paw, he was the tribe shaman, who honestly felt like he was one bad potion away from burning the whole village down. Then there was Paw Pooch, the little mascot dog character whose primary responsibilities included being adorable, creating chaos, accidentally ruining plants. Peak 80s cartoon logic. The real MVP of the series was Princess Paw-Paw, because without her, there's no Moonstone, no magic, no living totems. Which means the entire village's defense strategy basically depended on one child remembering where she left a glowing rock. No pressure there. This show unlocked a weird memory for me. Back when I was a kid, cartoons like this felt huge. Like there were entire worlds living just outside of the episodes. And because there was no streaming, no YouTube recaps, no DVR, missing an episode felt catastrophic. If your parents dragged you to the grocery store during Paw-Paws, in your mind, you'd miss some massive piece of lore forever. Even though, realistically, you could jump back in next week and understand everything just fine. As a kid, though, it never felt that way. The Minos, because apparently subtlety was not on the menu back in the 80s. Leading the pack was Dark Paw, whose entire life mission basically boiled down to get the Moonstone, steal the totems, take over the village, and probably conquer the world while he was at it. You know, standard cartoon villain resume stuff. The real star of the Minos had to be Aunt Pruny, a witch who didn't fly on a broomstick. She cruised around on a vacuum cleaner. A vacuum cleaner, which feels less like an evil invention and more like someone at Hanna-Barbera looked around the office 5 minutes before lunch and went, household appliance? Make it evil. Somehow, it worked. Here's the thing about 80s cartoon villains. They almost never won. Not really. These shows were designed to reset everything by next week. So every episode basically became evil plan begins, henchmen mess up, totem smashes something, Dark Paw screams dramatically, roll credits. That formula still works.
After these messages, we'll be right.
Hi, I'm Michael J. Fox, and I'll be right back with One to Grow On.
I don't know. Come on, lighting matches can be fun.
What's so hot about playing with matches? Every year, thousands of people are hurt or are left homeless by the careless use of fire. Fire is a tool. We cook with it. It keeps us warm. It gives us light. But it can be very dangerous. It is not a toy to be played with. Because if you use fire improperly, it can cause a lot of trouble. It can even cost you your life.
You burn me up, Harry. What's the point of playing with fire when it could burn both of us? Or burn something that we don't want to burn, like my books here. Gee, I never really thought of that. Would you want to do something real fun? Yeah, let's go see the creature that ate Ralph. Now there's a hot idea. Come on.
And that's When to Grow On.
It's Paw-Paws on Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
Why does Paw-Paws feel so 80s? Everything about it screams the decade. Bright colors, Big fantasy adventure, simple morals. Danger that never felt too dangerous. Even the episode titles sounded like someone got paid by the pun. The structure was classic 80s comfort television. Modern cartoons are amazing, but old cartoons had this weird, cozy energy. I also remember these kinds of shows always airing super early, like 6:30 in the morning early. You'd be half awake, eating cereal that turned the milk radioactive colors, and suddenly a giant wooden eagle would be fighting a wizard bear. Somehow your brain just accepted that as reality. Why did Paw-Paws disappear? Honestly, timing. Unlike giant franchises like Transformers or He-Man, Paw-Paws never exploded into a full-blown pop culture phenomenon. It didn't have endless waves of merchandise, comic books, lunchboxes, or video games keeping it alive between episodes. It was just there for a brief time. The series only lasted a single season with 21 episodes before quietly disappearing from the airwaves. And because so many cartoons were being produced back then, shows that didn't become massive hits could vanish surprisingly fast. For a lot of kids, Paw-Paws slowly became one of those half-remembered shows you only recalled years later, after hearing the theme song or spotting a random clip online. Later reruns on Cartoon Network and Boomerang helped some viewers rediscover it. But even then, it never quite crossed over into household name territory. It became more of a nostalgic deep cut. The kind of cartoon people remember with, wait, was that a real show? Looking back now, Paw-Paws really does feel like a time capsule from a very specific time of animation. You can see the exact formula studios were chasing in the mid-1980s. Fantasy adventure, colorful mascots, light comedy, simple life lessons, and just enough action to keep kids glued to the TV before the cereal wore off. And like a lot of cartoons from that time, some parts of it definitely feel dated today. Certain character designs, themes, and storytelling choices land differently through a modern lens than they probably did in 1985. Honestly, that's part of what makes revisiting shows like this so interesting. Paw-Paws captures a moment when Saturday morning cartoons operated on pure imagination and excess. Studios weren't trying to build grounded cinematic universes or prestige animation. They were trying to create worlds that felt big, loud, magical, and instantly memorable to kids flipping channels on a Saturday morning. Paw-Paws committed completely to its own weird little universe. Flying horses, mystic totems, tiny bear villagers. It's chaotic, it's strange. Sometimes it barely made sense. But there's also something weirdly charming about how sincere it all feels. The show never acts embarrassed by its own premise. It throws itself fully into the fantasy. And that kind of unapologetic creativity is hard not to appreciate now. Maybe it never became an iconic franchise like He-Man or Transformers, but as a snapshot of 1980s animation culture, Paw-Paws is genuinely fascinating. Forgotten? Definitely. Weird? Absolutely. Entertaining? In the most 1985 way possible. That's what makes these forgotten cartoons so fun to revisit. If Paw-Paws feels weirdly familiar to you, there's probably a reason for that. In the previous episode, we talked about The Biscuits, another cartoon about tiny animal characters living in their own little world, while goofy villains created nonstop chaos. As a kid, I mixed these shows up constantly. In my memory, they basically existed in the same Saturday morning universe. Tiny characters, bright colors, people running around screaming while something exploded in the background. That was more than enough for my brain to connect them forever. But Ed, when you're 8 years old, your standards for entertainment are pretty simple. Your entire system is basically, is it animated? Is something chasing something? Can I sit here eating cereal while watching it? If the answer was yes, that show immediately became the greatest thing ever created. That's part of what made so many of these old cartoons stick in people's memories. Even the strange ones felt enormous when you were a kid watching TV on a Saturday morning. So now, I've got to know. Did you actually remember Paw-Paws before this video? Or is this the first time you've ever heard about a cartoon involving magical bear guardians, flying horses, giant wooden totems, and a villain that looks like they wandered out of an enchanted yard sale? I can't tell how many people remember this show versus how many people are discovering it in real time and wondering how this was an actual thing that aired on television. Either way, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing which forgotten cartoons people randomly remember from childhood, especially the ones that feel like a fever dream until somebody confirms they existed. If you want more deep dives into strange, forgotten, or barely remembered cartoons from the past, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around. There are still a lot of weird old shows left to revisit. Next week, we're going prehistoric. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay minty. Stay fresh. Bye.